Good morning, children. You all were waiting for me? Or you all were waiting eagerly for Jim's letter to be read in the class? See, the author, Michael, of the story The Best Christmas Present in the World, even though he knew that it was not a good thing to read others' letter, because of his curiosity, he wanted to know who was Jim and why it was his last letter. He began to open the letter and read. The last class, we stopped there. He was about to read the letter of Jim, which he wrote to his wife. The letter read like this. Dearest Connie, so Connie is his wife. I write to you in a much happier frame of mind because something wonderful has just happened. Dearest Connie, he is addressing his wife as the dearest. I write to you, and he did not start the letter with how are you, hope you are fine and all. That means even though he is not near her, he is always in contact with her. Whenever he experiences joy, sorrow and all, at that moment itself he conveys it with his wife. So today, Connie, you know what happened? Something exciting has happened today. I write you today, I am very happy because something wonderful has happened that I must tell you about at once. So at once, I have to tell you about it. I want to share my happiness with you. So earlier, children, when no other means of communication was there, communication was possible only through letters. It was really a wonderful experience. You might have seen in films and all, the heroines waiting eagerly for the postman to come with the letters from their dear ones. A Hindi film is there, and a beautiful song, just having a beautiful song, which picturizes the curiosity of a soldier who is waiting for the letter from his wife. And when he gets the letter, he goes and reads it secretly, and his friends are coming and snatching it away from him. So, the hero of our story, Jim, is also a soldier. So now, he is telling, today Connie, we were all standing in our trenches. Trenches means ditches where soldiers can hide from their enemy. And it was a very beautiful morning. Children, do you remember when we wrote this letter? December 26, 1914. And now it was Christmas morning. The last day was telling about the last day. It was a beautiful morning, fine morning. I should like to be able to tell you that we began. So when we were standing in our ditches like this, in our trenches, I should like to be able to tell you that we began. But the truth, I am ashamed to say, is that Fritz began. Fritz is a name, a common name given to a German soldier. First, someone saw a white flag waving from the trenches opposite. So who was there on the opposite side? German soldiers. And this side, British soldiers. And now, someone saw a white flag. White flag shows a symbol of peace. A white flag waving from the trenches opposite. Then they were calling out to us from across no man's land. Happy Christmas, Tommy! Happy Christmas! Tommy, happy Christmas. Who is Tommy? Tommy is the name, common name for a British soldier. When we had got over the surprise, so first we were surprised because both of us are bitter enemies. So a war is going on. Which war, children? A war that took place in 1914. Germany, France and UK had had signed a treaty which said that Belgium was not to be used for the purpose of army. But Germany violated this and they sent an army camp there. The British gave them warning to call them back, but they were not ready to do so. And so, the British declared a war against Germany. That is this war. So now, both the armies were there on both sides, Germans and English. A great battle was going on there. And this battle actually led to the First World War, which started in 1914. So now, they were calling us from there, Happy Christmas, Tommy, Happy Christmas. Then first we were very surprised to hear this, because our enemies are wishing us Happy Christmas. And now some of us also shouted back, same to you friends, same to you. But then suddenly one of them was there up in his grey coat and waving a white flag. Don't shoot lads, someone shouted. So someone was ready for shooting also. Don't shoot lads, and no one did. Then there was another friend upon the parapet and another. So I was the officer, keep your heads down. I think it's their trick. In the battlefield, soldiers will be playing many tricks to defeat each other. So I thought it was their trick, and I told my men to put their heads down. It's a trick, but Connie it wasn't a trick. One of the Germans was waving a bottle above his head. It is Christmas Day, Tommy. It is Christmas Day. We have schnapps, we have sausage. We meet you, yes? Shall we come over there? By this time, there were dozens of them walking towards across no man's land. Now dozens of them, dozens of soldiers were coming towards our place. They were walking towards the no man's land. That means a place where no one is having the ownership. A place of dispute. Come on boys, what are we waiting for? And there was no one to stop them. If anyone was supposed to stop them, it was I, because I am their officer. But I did not stop them. All along their line and us, I could see men walking slowly towards one another, and grey coats and khaki coats now meeting in the middle. And I also became a part of this. In the middle of the war, we were making peace. In the middle of this great war between Germans and Britons, we were making peace there. Children, actually, what is this war for? Without settling a dispute with discussions, things are becoming worse by declaring a war. It is just because of the selfishness of the rulers. How many children are left orphaned because of this? How many widows, how many wives are becoming widows? Children, as you are young generation, you have to think of this. So we can come back to the letter. You cannot imagine, dearest Connie, my feelings as I looked into the eyes of the first officer. Connie, you know that I cannot express my feelings when the first officer who approached me, hands outstretched, hands full, and he addressed himself. So the first officer, he is very warmly greeting me. He addressed himself as Hansford. His name is Hansford. Gripping my hand warmly and holding it, he took my hands into his. I am from Düsseldorf. I play the cello in the orchestra. So mainly, what is his job? He plays cello in the orchestra. from Dusseldorf. Happy Christmas. Now, I introduce myself, Captain Jim McPherson, and a happy Christmas to you too. I'm a school teacher from Dorset in the west of England. So basically, they are not soldiers. See, at a time of emergency, the government is having the right to appoint other professionals also for the purpose of war. So these people have come soon. So hearing the word Dorset, he was very happy. Dorset is mine. I know this place. I know it very well. We shared my rum ration and his excellent sausage, and we talked honey. You know what all things we talked about. So now we have become very big friends, very intimate friends. He had learned, but it turned out that he had never set foot in Dorset. He was speaking, even though he was speaking perfect English, he had never come to Dorset. He had learned all he knew of England from school and from reading books in English. He was a wide reader. So his favorite writer, is Thomas Hardy, and his favorite book, Far from the Madding Crowds. So out there in no man's land, we talked of Bathsheba and Gabriel, the characters of the Madding Crowd, Far from Madding Crowds, and Sergeant Troy and Dorset. He had a wife and a son, born just 6 months ago. As I looked about, there were herders of khaki, and not only we were making friends, and now when I looked about, I could see herders of khaki and grey coats. There was a crowd of khaki and grey coats. The British soldiers and the German soldiers, they also have become thick friends. Smoking, laughing, talking, drinking and eating. Hanswolf and I shared what was left of your wonderful cake also. Connie, the cake you had sent me, the Christmas cake, that little was left behind, so we shared that also. We agreed about everything, and he was my enemy. Even though he was my enemy, there was no dispute here. We agreed about everything. There never was a Christmas party like it. I had never enjoyed such a Christmas party in my life. I cannot forget this. Then someone, I don't know who is it, brought out a football. So now they were about to play football here. Grey coats, they are dumped in piles to make goal posts. And the next thing we knew, it was Tommy against Frizz, out in the middle of no man's land. Hansworth and I looked on and cheered, and we encouraged them by clapping our hands. Now, he saw it too and smiled, so we were very happy, and now he said, Jim McPherson, I think this is how we should resolve this war. A football match. No one dies in a football match. No children are left orphaned. No wives become widows. So this is the best way of resolving a war. I would prefer cricket, I told. Then we Tommies could be sure of winning probably, because we are good in cricket. We laughed at that, and together we watched the game. Sad to say, Connie, Fritz won 2 goals to 1. It was Fritz who won. The time came, and all too soon when the game was finished, the stamps and sausage, everything was over. So I wished Hansel, and when everything was over, it was the time has come to part with each other. I wished Hansel and told him I hoped he would see his family again very soon. So I wished him good luck, that the fighting would come soon towards an end, and we all could go home. I think that is what every soldier wants, on both sides. Now as a soldier, now I know the mind of each and every soldier. Hansel said, Take care, Jim McPherson. I shall never forget this moment, nor you. He saluted and walked away from me slowly, unwillingly. He was walking away unwillingly. He did not actually want to part with me. I felt it. He turned to wave just once and then became one of the hundreds of grey-coated men drifting back towards the trenches. Now he was walking slowly away and away from me. And now he became one of the hundreds of those soldiers who drifted back towards their trenches. That night, back in our dugouts, a shelter for soldiers made by digging holes, we heard them singing a carol and singing it quite beautifully to express their happiness. It was the carol they sang. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Like that. Our boys also gave them a rousing chorus of White Shepherd's Watch. I don't know that song to sing. So we exchanged carols for a while and then we all fell silent. That means all had gone to sleep. We had our time of peace and goodwill. A time I will treasure as long as I live. Dearest Connie, by Christmas time next year, this fall, Connie, I can promise you that by Christmas time next year, this war will be nothing but a distant and terrible memory. So this war would come to an end soon because we all are longing, both the armies, how much we are longing for peace. I know from all that happened today how much both armies long for peace. We shall be together again soon, I am sure of it. So the letter ends here. Yours loving, Jim. The author of our lesson, Michael, after reading this letter, he was very touched by this letter. He folded it and kept it back in the envelope. He could not sleep that night. It was a sleepless night for him. By morning, he had made a decision. He decided to meet his wife, Mrs. Jim McPherson. We don't know whether she is alive or not, whether she would be waiting for her hero to come. And children, you must remember one thing, this was Jim's last letter. After this letter, he never wrote to his wife. That means he is not alive now. As in the film Kala Pani, the beautiful film Kala Pani, the heroine, the old and weak heroine who is waiting for her hero to come, sometimes Mrs. Jim McPherson would be alive waiting for her hero. We don't know. To know more about that, we have to wait for the next class. So hope you all have enjoyed the story. Thank you, children. Thank you very much.